This is indeed a very strange transmitter. It's marked on the front HUPCO CW40/50. It has a lot of parts inside. The final tube is a 6146, but it is run extremely conservative. I'm guessing that the high voltage isn't very high, and that's why it's run so conservative. The fuse cap, it comes from another rig that I have, so I will take the fuse cap out, so if you have one, you'll have to use your own, and probably your own fuse, because it comes from another rig. I just didn't have an extra fuse cap on hand. The crystals in this are not marked, but I do have the labels. I do have the labels, and I will include them in here. The labels have fallen off. The values that are marked on the crystals are not correct, but you can know what frequency they are, because inside you will see the switch will show you what the frequencies are, so you could tape that on. Also, the cabinet is not screwed in, so when you have to be very careful with it. I thought this held it in, but this doesn't hold it in. So a couple of things to watch out for. I looked up W3MPK online, didn't find anything. It looks like he's a silent key about 20 years ago or more. And I Googled this rig, and I couldn't find any information other than the guy who was trying to sell it. So I have identified what all the controls are for. That's for the transmitting antenna, and if you hook a receiver over here, you'll have a pass-through for the receiver, so you could have your receiver hooked in. So that's that. This turns on the filaments and the low power. Key goes in here. This turns on the B+. This is tune and this is load. And the last thing I had trouble figuring out was this little button over here, but I finally figured that out. That's you push that in to find your grid voltage or grid current, but I didn't see any way to adjust the grid current, so I'm not sure why that's in there. If you put this on the end, that then activates this switch for all these frequencies that are in here, and it covers 40 meters pretty well. Not all the crystals I got to run all the time, but I put it in my DX60 and that runs. So maybe the crystals, there was some oxidation on the contacts. There we go. So you can see how everything is. If I push this button in on grid and push that down, you see a little bit of grid current there, so that'll tell you what the grid current is by pressing that in. So that's what that button is for. It took me a while to figure out what that one was for. So I'll put the plate voltage on, and we will key it up and see what we get. And that's a 60-watt light bulb, and I'm guessing it's lit up to about 20 watts. The meter says more than that, but I think the meter is totally inaccurate. So that's 7145, 7140. I'll turn it over to 7145. Let's see. Let's put that over the plate. Alright, let's try 7145 didn't work, but I put that crystal on a DX60 and it did, so I'm wondering about the contact. That's 7135. Let's try 7130. There's 7130. Let's try 7125. And we'll try 7120. Okay, and 7115. And And we'll try 7110. There was another one that didn't work here either. And 7107. And 7105. And I don't think this one worked. No, it does. Then, if you want to use these, that's going to be 7040. I'm going to go up, actually, and get this one because it's the higher one. It's the higher one, 70055. And I'm just tuning the rig down here, the receiver. I think we're probably dipped here. Yeah. And then we'll do 7050. And that looks like 71, I can't quite read it, 7145. And this last one is 7040, and that one doesn't seem to work either. There we go. I think I needed to clean the contacts on that, because there we go. So, it's worth, when you figure that the crystals are probably on the order of $10 to $15 each, and we have how many crystals? We have 11 crystals over here, and we have 4 more over here. That's 15 crystals. Just pricing the crystals out alone, that's about $150 worth of crystals, between $100 and $150 worth of crystals that are in there, plus all the components that are in there. And so this is quite an interesting rig. That's why I got it. And then when I got it, no one, the seller did not know what it did, other than that it was supposed to be for 40 meters, but he didn't know if it worked or not. And I did check it through. This is continuous when you have the B plus off. When the B plus is off, the antenna will go right to the receiver. So that's probably one of the more interesting rigs that I've had. I have a KX3 which does 12 watts, but it doesn't weigh as much as this does. This is extremely heavy duty, so shipping is going to be expensive because it is really up there. So remember, you don't get the fuse cap. You've got to find. Hopefully, you have your own fuse cap, your own key. Somebody recently asked me about what's included in something, and he thought he was probably going to get an antenna, a microphone, a keyer, one of those Balaji keyers. No, you get what you see, and well, not what you see, because you're not getting the power meter and the illegal dummy load, or what I would like to call a contest to load. So that is this rig.